You've seen the thumbnails. You clicked because you wanted the real list, not the hype, not the filler, but the must-watch Thai GL series that actually matter. These aren't just shows. They're emotional earthquakes disguised as romance. Stories that don't just entertain, they change how you see love, identity, and silence. 5 series. Each one a doorway. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one to watch first, and why the others might just break your heart in the best way possible. Let's be honest, when you hear Thai GL series, your mind probably jumps to drama, tension, stolen glances in school hallways or high-powered offices. But what if I told you some of the most powerful love stories today aren't about grand confessions or dramatic reunions? They're about patience. About waiting. About silence. About building a life around someone you can't have, or finally daring to claim one you deserve. The truth is, the world of Thai GL has evolved far beyond simple tropes. It's become a space where queer women are not side characters, plot devices, or tragic endings, but fully realized human beings navigating love, trauma, history, disability, and self-worth with breathtaking honesty. And while there are countless Thai GL series on YouTube floating around, only a few rise above the noise, the ones that earn their place on every serious Thai GL series list not because they're popular, but because they matter. Shows that stay with you long after the final episode. That spark conversations. That make you feel seen. So if you're looking for more than just chemistry, if you want depth, representation, and storytelling that cuts through the surface, then this isn't just another list of Thai GL recommendations. This is your curated entry point into the most meaningful Thai GL dramas of our time. Now, let's begin, not with the latest trend, but with the one that started it all. When Gap the series first premiered, it didn't just enter the Thai GL scene, it detonated a cultural bomb that reshaped what queer romance could look like on screen. What began as a seemingly simple office dynamic between Mon and Sam quickly revealed itself as a masterclass in tension, power, and emotional restraint. Their chemistry wasn't loud, it was magnetic, pulling viewers into a world where every glance carried weight and every silence spoke volumes. This wasn't just another addition to the growing library of Thai GL dramas, it was the spark that ignited global interest. Suddenly, audiences outside Thailand were searching for subtitles, dissecting scenes frame by frame, and falling hard for a story that refused to apologize for its queerness. The show leaned into its identity with bold aesthetics, a dreamlike soundtrack, and a narrative unafraid of complexity, making it a staple on every serious Thai GL series must-watch list. And while some criticized its melodrama or campy moments, those very elements became part of its charm, a reminder that joy, exaggeration, and theatricality are valid forms of queer expression. Gap the series didn't aim for realism above all, it aimed for resonance. It gave fans permission to feel deeply, to root for flawed women in love, and to see themselves in a genre that had long ignored them. In doing so, it didn't just open doors, it kicked them down. But if Gap was the explosion, then The Loyal Pin was the quiet aftershock, a love story whispered through history, tradition, and the unbearable weight of silence. Set against the quiet elegance of 1950s Thailand, The Loyal Pin unfolds like a forgotten letter discovered decades later, fragile, intimate, and soaked in unspoken longing. This isn't a romance built on grand declarations or dramatic confrontations. It's one that lives in the space between words, in the brush of a hand, in the way two women navigate love under the weight of tradition, duty, and societal expectation. Every frame feels intentional, every silence loaded with meaning. What makes this series stand out among Thai GL recommendations is its profound sense of time and place. It doesn't just use history as a backdrop, it weaves it into the fabric of the story. The costumes, the music, the restrained performances all serve to ground the narrative in a reality where being true to oneself comes at a cost. And yet, within that restraint lies immense power, a testament to how deeply queer stories can resonate when they're allowed to breathe within their cultural context. Unlike many Thai GL series that lean into modern tropes or fantasy-adjacent settings, The Loyal Pin chooses authenticity over escapism. It asks us to sit with discomfort, to feel the tension of suppressed desire, and to recognize the courage it takes to love quietly in a world that demands conformity. This is not just another entry on a must-watch list, it's a masterpiece of emotional storytelling that elevates the entire genre. A whisper, yes, but one that echoes long after the final scene. But if the loyal pin speaks through silence, then Pluto roars through the cracks of an unjust system, a story where love, disability, and resistance collide in ways no TGL drama has dared before. Pluto doesn't just tell a love story, it holds up a mirror to the systems that shape our lives, exposing the fractures beneath the surface of justice, family, and identity. At its core is May, a brilliant lawyer who loses her sight, and her evolving relationship with twin sisters shaped by childhood trauma and loss. Their connection isn't immediate or easy, it unfolds through layers of care, obligation, and quiet intimacy, challenging what we expect from romance in TGL dramas. What sets Pluto apart is how unflinchingly it confronts issues rarely centered in mainstream narratives: ableism, class disparity, and the commodification of justice. These aren't background themes, they drive the plot, shape character decisions, and force viewers to question their own assumptions about power and privilege. The romance simmers beneath ethical dilemmas and emotional restraint, making every moment feel earned, never gratuitous. This isn't entertainment designed to soothe, it's storytelling meant to unsettle. There are no tidy resolutions, no fantasy escapes, only raw human complexity played out with remarkable subtlety. In a landscape where many TGL series prioritize chemistry over context, Pluto dares to ask, what does love look like when the world is stacked against you? It's not on the must-watch list because it's popular, it's here because it matters. A bold statement in a genre too often reduced to aesthetics. And if Pluto challenges the world around us, then it turns inward, a rare portrait of queer love built not on chaos, but on safety, communication, and the quiet courage of being truly seen. There's a quiet revolution happening in us, not with protests or dramatic confrontations, but in the way two women talk to each other when no one else is listening. Dokrak and Pam aren't chasing, manipulating, or playing games. They listen. They pause. They speak their fears and honor each other's boundaries. In a genre where conflict often fuels romance, this series dares to show love as something built on mutual respect, emotional safety, and adult communication. Their relationship unfolds with a rare kind of realism, conversations filled with hesitation, humor, and small silences that feel deeply human. When tension arises, it isn't met with shouting or cold shoulders, but with reflection, vulnerability, and the courage to say, I need help. This isn't just refreshing, it's revolutionary for queer storytelling, offering a model of intimacy that doesn't require pain to feel authentic. Visually, the series mirrors its emotional tone, soft natural lighting, unobtrusive camera work, and a color palette that feels lived in, not staged. There are no flashy tropes, no over-the-top gestures, just two people choosing each other, day after day, in ways both subtle and profound. Among all TGL series, Us stands out not for its drama, but for its depth. It's proof that healthy love can be just as compelling as any slow burn, and that sometimes, the most radical act is simply showing up. And if Us shows us love in its most grounded form, then 23.5 takes us back, to first glances, secret messages, and the tender ache of young queer love blooming under the weight of fear and hope. There's a gentle ache to 23.5, the kind that settles in when you remember your first crush, the one you never told, the one who only knew a version of you hidden behind a screen. Based on Blue's novel and brought to life with pastel skies and soft piano melodies, this series captures the fragile beauty of young queer love blooming in secret. Onsa, shy and introspective, sends a simple sweet dreams message to Sun under the alias Earth, not knowing it will spiral into a digital romance built on truth disguised as fiction. What makes 23.5 so tender is how it honors hesitation. Sun believes Earth is a boy, and Onsa, afraid of losing the connection, continues the charade. But rather than framing this as deception, the story treats it as an act of self-preservation, a quiet attempt to be loved for who she is, even if the world isn't ready to see her yet. Every DM, every near-miss encounter, every lingering glance in the school hallway pulses with emotional weight, making the audience feel both the joy and the cost of living in between identities. Set against the rhythms of high school life, 23.5 doesn't rush its story. It lingers in small moments, shared headphones, accidental touches, the way sunlight hits a face during lunch break. Visually, it feels like memory itself, warm, slightly blurred at the edges, but vivid where it matters. Among TGL series, it may seem lighter than the rest, but don't mistake softness for lack of depth. This is a love letter to vulnerability, to the courage it takes to say, I exist, even when you're not sure how to say it out loud. These 5 series aren't just stories, they're reflections of lives lived, loves lost, and identities claimed. And together, they form something greater than entertainment. These 5 series, Gap the Series, The Loyal Pin, Pluto, Us, and 23.5, are more than just entries on a must-watch list. They're milestones in Thai GL storytelling, each one revealing a different facet of what it means to love, to be seen, and to exist as a queer woman in a world that doesn't always make space for you. They challenge, comfort, unsettle, and heal, sometimes all at once. And yet, this isn't the end. It's barely the beginning. New Thai GL series are emerging every season, bringing fresh voices, bolder narratives, and deeper representation. The genre is evolving, not just for fans, but because of them. Because people like you are watching, sharing, discussing, demanding stories that reflect real lives, not just fantasies. So here's a question: which of these shows made you feel something? Was it the tension in Gap, the series, the quiet sorrow of The Loyal Pin, the raw honesty of Pluto, the emotional safety found in Us, or the tender ache of first love in 23.5? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you haven't started any of them yet, pick one today, not tomorrow, not when you have time, but today. Because stories like these don't just pass the time, they change how you see yourself and others. If you found value in this deep dive into Thai GL series, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because we're just getting started. There's more coming: hidden gems, underrated releases, and global queer stories. This channel is built for those who want more than entertainment, who want connection, understanding, and truth. Because ultimately, discovering Thai GL dramas isn't just about finding something to watch. It's about finding pieces of yourself in stories you never thought would exist. And when you do, you'll realize you were never alone.